CCL fanatics far and wide, welcome to the beginning of the end of our 2023 Modern Warfare 2 season. College God, it's been a long time coming, but here we are, Jesse, the LAN qualifiers. I couldn't be more excited to get into it, bud.
Yeah, absolutely. The last of the online matches for CCL for the year. And then after this, it's all on LAN, baby. That's going to be a fantastic time.
Oh, of course. And last week, we got to see all of these teams between four regions, go head-to-head, battle through a gruesome bracket to see who's going to qualify first for the LAN. And, four teams that I'd say a lot of people were expecting to come out on top did come out on top. So as we take a look at our LAN qualified teams from last week, the teams who pushed through the bracket, won in the grand finals, and auto-qualified to go to Columbus in the upcoming LAN. Jesse, we got Northeast, Southeast, Midwest, and West. Four teams that I would say was pretty cut and dry who we're going to get.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say, hey, our top 25 this year. I know sometimes our top 25 in College God, they get a little bit, people come at them on Twitter sometimes. But I'd say they're pretty damn accurate this year. And these top five these four that have made it through, we're constantly within the top five or right around that region this year. So great to see them make it through. And yeah, everybody here basically 3-0'd their grand finals outside of Oklahoma, who only came away with that 3-1 victory over St. Edwards. But yeah, man, I mean, some fantastic matches last week, and it only gets crazier coming into this week.
Well, I mean, the toss-up was between Mars Hill and University of North America in that top five. Jesse always kind of battling for that one. But the Dragons, they quickly put that one to rest with two 3-0 sweeps in both the winners final and the grand finals. So we take a look at, what we have today, the teams that are looking to qualify to go to Columbus. And this is where things get very, very interesting. I mean, we got 12 teams who have proved to be at the top of the list for their regions, but just below those top four teams that we saw. Now, each one of them, they have their own story, Jesse. Each one of these teams has something to prove, and I couldn't be more excited to, see these teams in action.
Yeah, and when you look at these teams, the way that they're kind of formatted in each division here, the team on the farthest left is probably, I guess, your quote-unquote favorite to make it out. It was the team that lost inside of that grand finals to the qualifying teams that we just saw on screen. We got Farmingdale State, Mars Hill, St. Clair, and St. Edwards, all going to be very tough teams to match up with. But the one region that I'm looking at out of all these regions that I would be the most worried for, Colin, is that Midwest region. That Midwest region, those three teams, all three of those teams came from LAN last year. They definitely have an opportunity to make it again this year.
I mean, we have four teams who were on LAN back in Vanguard looking to, go through the LAN qualifiers. Some might not have a chance to make it today. Some might get cut out. But you look at, SIUE, they were fourth in the Vanguard LAN last year. St. Edwards, fifth and sixth, and St. Clair and Davenport both losing in lower round one. A big surprise was that St. Clair Saint squad last year, Jesse. The way that they lost to St. Edwards, who made quite the run going into that fourth place spot. I think a lot of teams looking for revenge this year. A lot of teams looking for a different storyline as they go to Columbus for Modern Warfare 2. But let's take a look at the format that we have today, because LCQ, it's going to be quite the interesting time when we're looking through this round robin. Jesse, why don't you break it down for us?
Yeah, so everybody kind of gets mismatched right up into new different groups here today. We're not staying within the regions for today. And you're going to see there's a group A, B, C, and D. And within each group, three teams, top two from each group are going to move on to our head-to-head qualifiers. That's where we're going to see who is going to make it to LAN. We'll see that later on today. But outside of these teams, you're trying to finish top two in your group so that you can make sure you can make it to that head-to-head. And you can see when you look at the bottom of the screen, once we get to head-to-head, it's going to be the top team from Group A versus the second-place team from Group B, the top team from Group B versus the second place team from Group A, and then so on and so forth with Group C and Group D. They'll go head-to-head against each other as well. And yeah, Colin, we're going to be in for a really good one. These teams are very, very talented. I'm very excited to see what we can see kind of come out between these different teams here. Farmingdale State, I'm excited to see what they can do against three very good teams in their group as well. New Mexico State, a team that nobody should be kind of batting an eye at. JMU, another team kind of a little bit of a surprise this year to kind of see how good they were. And they've been lights out all the way throughout the year. So I'm going to be very excited to see how that Group A plays out, especially.
Yeah, there's a couple teams that you got to keep your eyes on today. Every single team That's here in the last chance qualifiers for LAN. They're here for a reason. They're here to make it to LAN, go to Columbus, and showcase exactly what this program, exactly what this team has put together across the Modern Warfare 2 season. But Jesse, I mean, you know, one thing I'd say that people at home, they need to know about today, and they need to always remember, is that going into LAN, you could have 3 teams from the Midwest, 1 team from the West. You know, it's not going to be the same amount of teams from each division making it to LAN. Today, this is where we really separate the good from the greats. You know, today we really get to separate, you know, a lot of these divisions and see exactly who deserves a spot on LAN. And I think that's the most exciting part, is the fact that we're not going to have the same amount of teams from each region at that LAN, possibly in Columbus.
Yeah, absolutely, right? It's not so cookie cutter today, right? It's not so cut and dry. We're going to have some teams that are going to be the more talented teams that are going to make it here today. And you know what? There were some teams that came up with some tough matchups last week. I'm probably looking at St. Clair and Davenport, who played each other twice. They 3-0'd one way, then 3-0'd the other way. Both teams probably could have taken a shot at Fisher. Neither team really did, though. They both end up walking away without the victory, right? So we'll just have to wait and see between all these teams who's going to walk out here today and be able to come away with a spot on LAN. But I mean, hey, anybody who can make it to LAN, it is anybody's game once you get on LAN.
Oh, of course it is. But to start off with round 1, Jesse, this is an exciting one. We got Mars Hill Esports, Davenport Panthers going head-to-head. Davenport, a team that you were just talking about, a team that made the LAN in Vanguard, DFR'd to not get a placing. I'm sure they did not want to get out so early in Columbus last time, and looking for a little bit of revenge today. Mars Hill is not going to be an easy test for them. So let's introduce the roster for Mars Hill first. The team, top 5 team in the top 25, Jesse, bracket that you were highlighting, a team who was going head-to-head with the University of North America all season long. They get 6-0 across that bracket last week to move into the last chance qualifier. They were not able to take down the Dragons online, and now they are looking for a revenge tour of their own. We got AG, Slaypex, Mazo, and Kalen.
Yeah, and when I'm looking at this team, you see 3 freshmen on this team, Slaypex, Mazo, and Kalen. I mean, this team is going to be a very good team for Mars Hill for years to come. This is all just experience right now, right? And yeah, you know what? They got double 3-0'd last week to UONA. Who cares? This team, very talented. They are going to be a fun team to watch for years to come in College COD. And I'm very excited to see what Slaypex can do on the main stage today.
Yeah, as am I. And across, you know, sitting from them, looking to upset right now, the Davenport Panthers, a team with quite an interesting story. You know, they didn't have the best regular season, Jesse, in Division 1. 3 out of the 4 players from last year coming back to the roster this year in Modern Warfare 2. The Panthers, they bring up Exib and, they, you know, Anthrax, Gecko, Sheldon, looking to, you know, bring this team back onto LAN. But the only thing is that's on my mind, Jesse, is which Davenport are we going to get today? Are we going to get the Davenport that 3-0 St. Clair, or are we going to get the Davenport that got 3-0'd by St. Clair?
That's a great question, right, Colin? Because, I mean, you look at this Davenport team, and it's kind of like the opposite of when we looked at Mars Hill. Mars Hill, you're looking, they're new, they're exciting, they're fresh. But then you look over at Davenport, yeah, you know what, they're a little bit older. They've got the experience, though, of going to LAN already, being a very talented team inside of College COD. They've already beat a lot of very good College COD teams throughout their 2-year tenure here inside of CCL. So this year is really going to be the make or break here now for this roster. Can they make it back to LAN? And this match right now against Mars Hill is going to be a very tough matchup, because I don't think that outside of St. Clair they've really gone up against a team that's going to be able to kind of bring this lane power and the fight to them like we've seen from Davenport here. But now we can take a look, Colin, at the head-to-head, and you'll see why exactly we're bringing it up and why we're kind of breaking everything down. Like, hey, Davenport had a rough start to the year. You can see 9-7. They've really turned it on recently. But Mars Hill 15-2, one of the best teams in College COD all year long. You can see the records all the way down the side there. Both these teams very good. The playoff records 4-2 and 3-2. But right now, though, if I had to go with a favorite, I gotta go with Mars Hill as a favorite. But Davenport, you can never count the Panthers out.
Oh, you can't. I mean, they grinded to get where they are right now. Mars Hill, I think the one thing that's scary going up against Mars Hill today is that loss from the Dragons, I'm sure, shook the Hornets' nest. So it's going to be a scary team, no matter which way you look at it, for today, between both teams who, again, are fighting for something a little bit more than just a win today, a chance to go to LAN. So taking a look at the maps for what we have, Jesse, for this series, it's going to be A best of 5 that I'm sure Davenport, they would have loved to tailor to their own liking. We got Fortress, Embassy, El Asilo, Embassy, and Fortress again through this best of 5.
Yeah, the Fortress to kind of start and end things off really plays in the hands of Mars Hill. They're very, very big fans of Fortress for both Hardpoint and for Search and Destroy. From the season records that we have on hand, they're 4-0 on both those map mode combinations. So those are going to be 2 maps that Mars Hill should be very, very good at. If you're Davenport, you want to try to steal this map one away as quickly as possible, just to kind of give yourself some momentum going into the rest of the series. I think if you're Mars Hill, though, you know, you're not looking at this and you're thinking, oh, this is going to be a cakewalk, because it absolutely isn't by any means. The rest of the maps, Davenport, they have a ton of experience on. Davenport 3-2 on Embassy, Search and Destroy. They've got good reps on that. 3-3 on El Asilo. That's a lot of reps on that map mode combination as well. So again, this team is not going to have any cakewalk here. And Marcel, they've played a lot of Fortress Hardpoint, but on the other side of things, Davenport has played also a lot of Embassy Hardpoint. Maybe not having the best map mode combinations, but a lot of reps calling, and a lot of reps can lead to a lot of success late in the season.
Well, Jesse, I mean, we're getting into it now. This is, you and I mean, this is the beginning of the end of the season for the two of us. I couldn't be more excited, you know, to start this LCQ and get these 2 teams ready to go. But before we jump into it, I mean, we talked about these teams who have qualified. We've talked about the teams who are looking to qualify. Only 4 teams out of this whole group, round robin, can make it. Other than, you know, I guess, the key teams like Mars Hill that you're looking at. Do you have any favorites for the 4 teams looking to qualify today?
I would put St. Clair as a favorite. I think that St. Clair, I'd be pretty surprised if they don't qualify here today, but they got to come with their best stuff, though, right? St. Clair, a school that me and you have always been a fan of. I mean, you went to the school, for God's sakes, right? And,
you know, no bias here.
There's no bias, though, but we're big fans of the St. Clair team. We've got a lot of friends over there, but I think the big thing for that St. Clair team is what St. Clair are we going to get today as well? Because you asked the question for Davenport. St. Clair iced up on that Sunday last week. They looked really good. Yes, they ended up losing at the end to Northwood, but the big thing, though, is that team sometimes can be very hit or miss. They cannot miss today. That's going to be the big thing for St. Clair. And then when you look at the rest of it, I think St. Edwards as well, another team that always has that earshot within making it to LAN. I think that I'm looking at them to be a favorite to make it out here today.
No, and I don't want to be biased either, but I'm right there with you. You know, St. Clair, you know, a team that I even used to play for, you know, they've made big changes this year. You know, only 1 out of 4 players from last year in Vanguard playing on this team in MW2, and I think that last week, that loss to Davenport was a big wake-up call. So it's just kind of one of those things that today is a day that you cannot start cold if you're any of these teams, especially St. Clair. You know, I'm sure they're one of the favorites from a lot of people looking at this round robin today. And I'm right there with you. I think personally, in my own idea, when I'm looking at these round robins, a couple teams that I would say have a chance at upsetting, maybe even sneaking their way into the LAN, is New Mexico State. I think the Aggies, they were an interesting team through the regular season. Even last week through the bracket, they were making some waves. They made it to the winners final. They lost to St. Edwards, unfortunately for themselves. They didn't get a chance to go into that grand final once again to play Oklahoma Christian. But they're a team that you cannot take lightly, and I think that if there's one team in my mind that could be a dark horse today, it's going to be New Mexico State Aggies. Not only them, I love the point that you brought up earlier about James Madison. I think that James Madison is another team who, if you don't take them lightly, I mean, Prey is going to walk right through you. That guy is nasty.
I was actually just about to bring that up when you were talking about dark horses and kind of who you think could have a shot at making it in. JMU is my dark horse right now for the 12 teams that we have here today. JMU kind of came on the scene this year, a big surprise this year for College God, not really knowing what we were going to get from this team. And then all of a sudden they were like 8-0, 9-0, whatever it was crazy. And everybody started to like, oh, I mean, I guess we're going to have to put these guys in our top 25 because they're not losing games. Then we saw Prey on stream, and everybody just went absolutely mental. That guy is insane when he is in a flow state, and I am really, really excited to see what JMU can do. And I would be really excited to see what they can do on LAN, too. JMU, on no ping, I could only imagine the things that Bray could do.
I mean, like, that's the thing. When you're looking at James Madison as a school, it's like, it's Prey and co. It's like James Madison is one of those teams, you know, throughout this bracket that, although I'm going to, you know, talk about James Madison as though I'm going to put them as one of my dark horses, Jesse, it's just, as a team, I hope they've been, figuring it out, because even if Prey is, the end-all be-all for that team, it's the end of the season. This is where things need to be just thrown on the table, and you need to lay it all out right now, because Prey isn't going to get you to land on his own. You need to see the other players too, and that's the big thing for today, is that we know we're dark horse comes from the other players. What are we going to get from the supporting cast? I'm James Madison. That's where the dark horse is really going to be found. So a couple teams to, take a look at throughout our LAN qualifiers today. I think that, with what we have right now, Davenport Panthers and Mars Hill Esports, they got Queens in their round robin group as well. So I will say I think that Queens isn't a team that I really had with upset potential throughout this group. I think that Davenport Panthers and Mars Hill, this is the clear 1-2 through that. But I'm here to be, proven wrong. I would love to see another Canadian team find some upsets today, Jesse. But, for this Group B, Mars Hill, Davenport, that's going to be a tough one for Queens. I think this is going to be a really big deciding game for seeding going into the head-to-heads.
Yeah, I agree. This is going to be a tough match for Queens for sure, going up against either Davenport or Mars Hill. But I think you need to just try to take advantage of whether or not whoever's going to lose. And you know what? Our main match has not started yet, Colin. We haven't gotten a chance to really fully talk about what we're kind of doing here today with the broadcast, but we will be jumping in and out of not just a featured match, but we have a secondary match going on here today as well. We've got observers inside of both, and you're going to see here on the screen, we've got Farmingdale State College, New Mexico State University Aggies, and Colin, you were hyping this New Mexico State team up, and they're already up big here to start this map number 1.
I really gave, New Mexico State the gas, Jesse, going into it. They have a strong start on Hydro so far, but Farmingdale State College, a team that going into this year, not a lot of people had on their board. And I will say, even throughout this LAN qualifier, this Farmingdale State team still has a lot to prove. They went up against Fisher in those grand finals. They got 3-0. They did take a map off of Fisher in the winners finals. So, Farmingdale State's just not a team you want to take lightly. But even still, I think, this team with Dez, CDL, Pubstar, Carbonize, and Spades, throughout this LAN qualifier, they have a little bit of soul searching to do.
Yeah, and I mean, we were touching on all the teams that we kind of seen as favorites. Farmingdale State definitely could still be a favorite here today as well. They have looked really good throughout most of the regular season, right? And this team definitely has an opportunity here. It's really going to be whether or not they can maximize on that opportunity, as with all of our other teams today. But again, another team that we definitely could see, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see them make it to the LAN.
Neither would I, but off that quick start from New Mexico State, the Farmingdale State College Rams, they were able to get right back into this game. A 7-point lead for the Aggies. On rotation over towards P4, you will start to see Farmingdale State take control of the right side of the mini-map. So now for New Mexico State, it's breaking out of this. Tez is going to make some noise back at the last hill, and that's just going to continue these spawns for New Mexico State all the way deep in Hydro. They're pinned back there.
Yeah, this looks like we're going to be in for a really close game between these two teams here, Colin. Farmingdale State, I mean, yeah, they're about to be set up here for the new one. But now, Colin, we get to the featured matchup here. Davenport Panthers, Mars Hill University. This is going to be a good one here. And you can see Davenport had a good start on that initial hill, but now as we head over towards the new hill, once again, it's going to be Davenport locked and loaded inside here for Fortress P2.
Locked and loaded, and Exib on the flank, not going to have to do anything. Looking over towards the P3 rotation. Exib, 5 in a row, 6-1 to start this game. Looking for the streaks right away. Exib is going to lock down that cruise missile, but a start that I was not expecting to get into. And he's going to call the cruise missile right away.
Kind of a good cruise missile here, too, because you might be able to just pull these players off as they try to go for new trophies. Will be down, though, so you can't walk away with the wins. The Anthrax just barely staying alive right now, but unfortunately, the bottom side spawns for Mars Hill. They were able to get the bottom circle spawns, and now they are going to be able to start to zone Davenport out as Davenport's going to continue to spawn up in mid.
Yeah, AG's going to be soaking up this time. You look at Kalen on the flank. Kalen's going to find all 3, not looking towards that map's area. Exib just a little bit worried on what to do next. But the weird spawns here from Davenport top maps is going to pin them down for a moment as Kalen, 4 in a row, has completely suffocated the Panthers. And already working towards the next hill, towards that inside ammunition.
This is really big for Mars Hill. Brings them right back inside of the game. They're going to hold on to the remainder of this time, I'm sure, as well. Now here comes the hard part, though. You got to start to work your way out of this. You do have an opening here through middle of the map, but unfortunately, Gecko, watching the stone steps, will be able to shut that down. Mazo may have just been able to find a lane, though. He gets up now into top rails, doesn't see anybody else up here. This is a very powerful position. If he can stay alive up here, could definitely make some noise here inside of this hill.
So undetected. Free kill there on Anthrax. Nobody in the hill now for Panthers is going to pull the attention back on inside. And Mazo, this is where he's going to have so much fun with this Vaznev. 6 in a row for Mazo. Is going to be a streak now for Mars Hill. Panthers mitigating this damage by finding a couple kills on the inside of this hill, continuing to hold on to this time. Anthrax is going to opt to just jump out of this one. But with the kills around this hill, Davenport, they know they need to get some of this time, grow their lead for rotations. Anthrax has nobody right now pressuring them out, and the kills around the outside, it's all going to be Panthers making sure that Anthrax is A-okay inside this hill.
It's a great stabilization by the Panthers, too, because, I mean, Mazo really made that about as hard as it could be in terms of holding on to that hill early on. Gets 3 of 4 players. Unfortunately, couldn't get the 4th, and Mars Hill did have those, or Davenport, I should say, did have those close spawns, and they were able to get back inside of that hill very quickly here, but still calling right about a 30-point game. Nothing crazy here yet between these two teams, and you do have Mars Hill set up as the first team over at Blacksmith here, so I wouldn't even be surprised if we end up having a tie game at the end of this first set of rotation. Both these teams clearly looking very evenly matched off the start of this.
Mazo's going to be in a great spot to just be annoying, but Davenport's still going to find a lot of the kills to just make sure that Mars Hill not going to collect any this time inside of this Anvil Hill until Mazo's going to find himself a little bit of a spree. 5 in a row again. You already have this cruise missile, so right now, Mazo, this is a chance to double up on streaks. Might want to call in this cruise missile before you get kill number 6. And, you know, while I'm talking about all this, even still, Mars Hill finding the necessary kills to just deny Davenport. And that lead that Davenport had after the ammunitions hill, Jesse, is gone.
Completely gone here. And Mazo will be able to double up on that cruise missile here. Now just trying to stay alive over at Gallows. Might even take this gunfight with Gecko here. No, just going to completely back up, stay back alive. Just try to be annoying. 2 HP in a dream, just trying to maybe flip these spawns out here for the new hill, get the players to maybe have to turn around, look a different direction, but they're not going to be able to find anything off the rip of this. Davenport, the early team here inside of the hill, and you can see a lot of the Mars Hill players, they're looking to overextend through the middle of the map to try to flip these spawns early.
I think that's something that's so dangerous about this Mars Hill team, Jesse, is that when you have a player like Mazo so hot like that, just to be able to pick up kills with the Vaznev alone, you don't need these streaks to come out. They could just lay the pressure down and force Davenport to make some weird mistakes. And now inside the hill, Exip Sheldon doing everything that they can to hold on to this P1 setup, but the break is going to be pushing through those spawns. Player number 5, AG, trying to pull things away from Davenport for that Gallo Hill. AG's going to find the kill, finally top doubles, but even still, Panthers, they did not let go of those spawns at all.
And I know we didn't get a chance to talk about it during our pregame here, but the main matchup I was looking at when we were coming into this one was the flex matchup between Gecko and between Slapex. And right now, Gecko very easily at 19 and 11, winning that flex battle right now. And you can see it's leading to a Davenport lead at the moment here. 19 and 11, Gecko having a very, very good map for himself right now. If you want to come back in this game as Mars Hill, Slapex will need to step it up here in the second half.
Is really the make or break, the X factor for this team. AG is going to break on his own. A little bit of backup towards the backside of Gallows, but Anthrax alone is going to break back in. Kalen trying to do as much work as you can with that attack 56, but albeit Exip still going to break back into this P2, back and forth for time. Mars Hill not getting, I guess, the time that they would want back at P2, and now losing it on the P3 spawns, Jesse. This is the scary part.
This is a big adjustment, too, from Davenport. In that last set of rotations, when we came into this game, they got out-rotated over to this P3 hill. You can see this time, though, they got full 60'd on this hill the last time. They let Mars Hill right back into the game. Ooh. They did not want to let that happen again. This time with 20 seconds left, they send all 4 players on rotation, and they have completely spawned Mars Hill out on the opposite side of the map.
I love watching these Davenport players play because you always get surprised whenever they're on stream. 192 and counting. Anthrax is going to be overwhelmed. Sheldon's there to back him up to pick up 2. 3 in a row for Sheldon. Now fighting for the spawns with Kalen, but some long-range shots with the tack. Mars Hill's going to break over towards P3. Some much-needed time.
I really need a break there. You can get right back into this game again. You'll be able to make it right around a 20-point game if you can hold on to the remainder of this time. And you can already see Davenport, they've got zero interest in trying to break their way back into this one. Maybe, just maybe, Exib might make their way over here to contest for these last 15 seconds. Just try to win a gunfight. They won't win the gunfight, though. So scrap time to Mars Hill. But the early rotation and the early setup you can see across the map, all Davenport over towards munitions.
Anthrax going to focus on trying to pin these players back P3. Could have failed with a big kill there for Kalen. It opens up the map a little bit to now rotate that large lead that Davenport had, about 70 points, now down to a mere 30 points, Jesse. So a little bit of wiggle room here for Davenport, but Mars Hill, they need to put the pedal to the metal. Two-prong break, one through top art, and it's going to be player number 7, Apex, trying to get into this hill, although Sheldon doing a great job again at cutting these players down. Anthrax now going to try to box them out towards Gallows, but Mars Hill with the spawns at the back, they're able to break into this hill, deny Davenport of getting closer to the win here, and see if they can cut down this lead once more.
Yeah, this hill's not done yet, though. 20 seconds still left on it, and you've got a lot of Davenport Panther players still around. You can still break your way back into this hill. It's going to be Anthrax from the front. Only one player left here for Mars Hill. Up in top rails, they will go down. So again, scrap time to Davenport. They're going to be within 20 seconds of closing this game out here. If you're Mars Hill, it's going to need to be pretty damn perfect COD from this point on if you're going to want to walk away with this map number 1. But they might just be able to get the setup here as they hold on towards Blacksmith first.
225 to 196. Mars Hill, last straw here for Fortress Hardpoint. Anthrax going to be on the flank. No player is going to be detecting this one. Nobody's going to be watching Anthrax, and here he comes. Sheldon's going to chime in. 3 kills for Davenport. Now only 20 seconds left, Jesse. They can win this one here. It spawns in the back from Mars Hill. You have to watch over towards this anvil. 5 kills for Anthrax to get this cruise missile. It's denied. The break back from Mars Hill. They're not done yet. Gecko gets cut down to the middle of the map, and Mars Hill stay alive.
Massive break. That's all 4 down. Davenport, technically, if they get a break, could still win on this hill, but I don't think that they're going to put any focus on that. It looks like everybody now setting up over towards P1. We're going to head back over towards that truck, and both teams are going to be looking to try to put the game away here. That's a big 4 down now for Davenport. They actually hop on old, and they can't win on this, but they can get really close, and they've got players in new. I think that this game is over. Davenport, yeah, they win the old, they win the rotation, Colin, and they surprise Mars Hill here in game 1.
I mean, the Davenport Panthers, they seek their prey, they pounce, and they strike first in the Hardpoint Fortress. It's a scrappy one. It might be exactly what you need to get started here in this round robin, and for Davenport, it was the right place to go to open up the series after a red-hot season for Mars Hill. Suddenly, you're starting to climb and catch up. If you're Davenport here, that is a big win.
And we got to talk about Gecko in that game 1, 29-18, a massive map number 1 from the main Slayer there over on Davenport. And hey, we talk about it all the time in COD, and the flex players generally can be your most important player on the map in terms of just trying to find slain potential alone. And Gecko absolutely won that battle against Slapex there inside of that map number 1, really put Slapex into the ground.
That's the X factor for us today, Jesse. I mean, Mars Hill Esports, the team to talk about today, to make it to LAN, almost a team that everybody would look at and be like, if Mars Hill doesn't make it, what the heck? What the heck? Because this was one of the teams to beat. This was one of the top 5 teams in their top 25 bracket. But Davenport Panthers, they really show what they're made of. I mean, this is a team who surprised everyone making it to LAN last year, and they looked good in Vanguard. Modern Warfare 2, we thought we weren't going to get the same Davenport that we had in our previous title, but hey, they show up when it really matters, Jesse, and here we are. Postseason Davenport hits different.
I think something with Davenport, too, to kind of mention is that they did, like you said, only have 3 of the 4 players from last year returning. So maybe it just took them a while to kind of integrate that new 4th in and really be able to get a good, solid, appreciation for how they can play the game together as a solid 4. And once they've found that now, it looks like they've got that rhythm and that routine that they need to be able to find success there. We can take a look here, Colin, though, at our highlights from game number 1 of the Farmingdale State, New Mexico State College matchup here between these two. And yeah, this looks like it was a very close game. Obviously, we don't actually have the final score for this, so we'll just have to wait inside to see who walks away with this one. But I think we hit the nail on the head when we were breaking this one down at the very start, Colin. This looks like this was very close all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, New Mexico State and Farmingdale State, these are two teams that on paper, they look even. And when it comes to putting them in a map and seeing them hash it out, they still look pretty even. Jolteon is having a crazy game for the Aggies, 34-23 so far. But, I mean, Farmingdale State, a team who's fundamentally really well put together, a team that we saw rotating and, you know, spawn trapping New Mexico State constantly on Hydro when we were watching them originally. And, you know, towards the end here, it looks like that's exactly what's going to garner them a win. The early rotation to P2, and New Mexico State, they just cannot break in the end. So big map one from FSC.
And a big game from Tez come the end of that one as well, 30-20 to close that game out there. And we'll get to see a scoreboard here now for the final for the Marsville versus Davenport map number 1 there. And again, our kind of featured matchup between two players, Gecko and Slaypex, the two flex players from these two teams respectively. Gecko 29-18, Slaypex a rough 17-24 map number 1. You're going to need to get more out of Slaypex, as those damage numbers as well at only 2,000 definitely need to be higher in a map that went the full distance.
Yeah, pretty cut and dry for Davenport. You know, I'm surprised that they came out like that in Fortress Hardpoint. I was a little bit worried with, you know, previously we've seen Mars Hill on this map mode combo before, and they've been lights out. And even towards the end, Mazo and Kalen were doing everything on rotation to try to keep Mars Hill in this game. But, I mean, you're right to call out both Slaypex and Gecko. That head-to-head's going to be important throughout the rest of this best of 5 as we head into the Search and Destroy next for map number 2. We head over to Embassy, Jesse, and nothing's going to slow down when you're watching those flex players. I think Embassy, the big key part is, are we going to see a sniper between both these teams? That's kind of one thing that might set Mars Hill a little bit apart from Davenport.
It's going to be the interesting part, right? And you know what I'm actually really excited for with the Search and Destroy between these two teams? It's by far both these two teams' best mode is Search and Destroy. You look at Davenport on the season, the regular season Search and Destroy record set at 9-5. Mars Hill 13-2 for their Search and Destroy record during the regular season. They have both teams clearly very good at this map mode combination. So I think it'll be a fun time to see just kind of how these two teams break it down. And you can see already pre-nades through top of police, and it's going to be an easy first blood there for Marcel, and they'll pair it up with a second, and we're going to get a very, very quick 2-2 here between these two teams.
Sheldon's got the boomstick out. Kalen dancing with the devil right now, I guess. A feisty Panther out of Davenport. Sheldon's going to have the bomb, too, so not the player I feel like you want to be holding this. Slaypax has so much control over towards the A site, getting pressured down by the nade, but even still using this head glitch. Not an easy kill for you to get if you're Davenport. Kalen here to wrap back and help out his teammate. Sheldon's going to recover attack 56. He's got a fast nip, too, so not done just yet, but as he try to get around the corner, Marcel's going to shut that one down and strike first as they answer back.
Yeah, they just stay alive in that situation for so long, Slaypex. Very, very annoying here, playing their life over and over again, just making it a hard kill. And what that does is it actually gives just enough time for Kalen to wrap back from top base C, get over to top gas, be able to shut things down there, find that first round very easily. And you can see Marcel, they've got the strats in Search and Destroy. That pre-nade that we saw over the top of PD, right inside that window to find that first blood, that was a really nice first blood.
100% that was practice. You go
for
into,
sure.
you know, custom match, whatever, you throw that nade tons of times. And it pays off, too. AG clearly got first blood last time for Marcel. Going to turn things around with one of his own. Slaypex going to help out. 2 kills both ways, and we stay even. Sheldon still has the sniper out. Look at player number 4. Exip has found their way all the way into the embassy, and Mazo, it seems like they know that Exip's back here.
Yeah, so far, 2 rounds in. Both rounds, each team has kind of just scrapped it out through middle of the map, and we've had an even 2v2. AG will find their second kill of the round here, though. Bomb is going to start to go down. Exhibit might be able to get the shots onto them, but no, won't be able to finish up AG here in that situation. Unfortunately, the nade will not connect either. Now Exhibit needs to find a way to attack onto this. Going to be very loud through middle of the map, though, breaking lots of doors, lots of windows, and actually does spot Mazo up top. But yeah, you should be dead to rights here if you're Exhibit. The nade will finish him off, and yeah, that's going to be a tie up here at 1-1.
Oh, to be a Vaznev player with a trophy system on Embassy in a 1 versus 2 situation. I don't want to be that player. And exit, that's not an easy spot to be at. The fact that AG stays alive is everything in that round, too. I mean, you were separated if you were Marcel, so there was a chance for Exib to, isolate one of those kills and bring it back. But the fact that AG stays alive and gets that bomb planted and gets away with their life, finding the kill on Sheldon really put Exib in a bad spot.
Yeah, and both these rounds so far from Marcel, like we said, go to 2v2 situations where they've needed to clutch up, and both times it's really come down to a player just kind of playing their life, staying alive as possible, and they've walked away with both rounds. That's going to be something we need to keep our eyes on as this game goes along. Just both teams needing to play their lives, needing to stay alive here to be able to walk away with these. And again, early trades in the middle of the round here, but this time they heavily favor Davenport. They're going to be up in a 3-1. AG will get the answer back with the snipe, though, and now left in a 1v2.
AG with the snipe. TAC 56 as well is picked up from their teammate. Seems like AG is going to get the audio cue for the rotation, or maybe not. Soon enough, that bomb's going to go down at A, and AG will understand what needs to be done. Look at Gecko, though. Going to take the kill early on. What a play from Gecko just to completely jump the gun and blindside AG up top. I thought for a second Davenport were going to give him a little bit of wiggle room to work this round, but Gecko says no.
No, Gecko decides to jump up, look at AG's last known location up in top AC, and what do you know? Find a wild AG just kind of strolling around up across the top of the bridge there. You'll be able to shut them down and walk away with your first round on the board now if you're Davenport. And you know what? That's a good round, right? On offense, you find a few kills through middle of the map. You find a few kills over top AC. You get that bomb down quite easily once you get the numbers, and you'll work everything out here for yourself here. AG, though, unfortunately, to start this round, will jump out and look the wrong way, and Exib will find an easy two-piece to start the round.
Interesting play call from Anthrax and Exib to, double up and work the middle of the map. That's bomb down in front of Laundry. Caitlin's going to make a big play to at least bring this back, collect that bomb. But even still, now that Davenport pushed back Mars Hill like that, not a lot of room to work right now if you are Mars Hill. So bomb's going to get collected, move its way over towards B. Sheldon, the only person here to shut this down, throws a shoulder. Kalen's going to spot it. Now, Sheldon, you just need to stay alive.
Just needs to stay alive long enough for Gecko to make this pinch. Gecko may have just spotted Mazo as well. Out towards the back right here. Kalen gets that bomb down and gets into bottom orange, though, so Kalen could be in a very powerful position come the end of this round.
Gecko doesn't see. Oh, now he knows. Gecko's in a perfect place to really spoil the fun, although turn your back to Kalen, it's going to cost you. Kalen's going to jump over to Sheldon. 1 versus 2. Gecko, now a 1v1. 25 seconds left. Mazo just has to play their life. They know they have time in their side. Dead silence going to be popped by Gecko. Mazo has no idea, and Gecko with the play 4 in a row. Is there time? There is time to get that defused. Davenport tie us up.
Usually from that hop up middle of the map, you'll see the players jump across, go up into top PD, but no, instead goes top paper and makes the wrap instead and finds the Mars Hill player with their pants down. That is a great play there inside of that round. And Colin, I mean, I said I thought this was going to be a fun search and destroy between these two teams, already living up to the expectations 4 rounds in.
I mean, the fact that Gecko just barely gets that nade right over towards where I think it was Kalen was at top AC. Sheldon does just enough damage for Gecko to make it a 1 versus 1, and then a game of hide and seek. You know where the defenders are going to be sitting in a post-plant situation, Jesse. Gecko reads him like a book. Now looking for the first blood again from the top ropes. Gecko gonna strike first on Amazo, but not before Marcel gets a ton of damage down. So bomb goes down for Davenport, but now they need to work on a post-plant, and they are surrounded by Marcel. AG's gonna line up both those players, and a near flawless round for Mars Hill to take back their lead.
Yeah, Mars Hill basically just said, all right, we're tired of these rounds going to these clutch situations and watching Davenport walk away with some clutches. We're just going to 4-hit a bomb site, hit it hard, hit it fast, and they're going to walk away with a round victory there. Really, Davenport did not have an answer to that. They get the bomb down, but that was just a immediate answer back there from Mars Hill. Great plays to get that bomb replant or diffused and get back into a great situation for themselves here inside of this game. Again, though, off the start of this game, got to highlight one player already. Gecko 7-3, a very, very good start here for Davenport. If you want to win this game, Marcel going to need to find a way to slow Gecko down. Immediately off the start of this round, it's going to be a quick hit over towards B, but first blood immediately now going the way of Davenport. Great shots from Sheldon.
Davenport doing a great job at stabilizing once again. AG trying to salvage this round, but Anthrax going to cut corners right through the middle of the map. 1 versus 3 for Mazo. Hasnev, a little bit of information too on where Anthrax is, so also potential here to make this into a 1 versus 2. You're going to burst out the door, find the kill, and 50 seconds left. What more can you bring to this round, Mazo? Now that they know exactly where he is, you can see that both Gecko and Exib are just going to play the exits.
Yeah, Mazo will pick up attack, though. It's going to help with some of these longer range fights. I'm not sure if they've spotted Gecko. Now they do for sure. Over and on top of top AC here. This is going to be a tough round to win. You got to pick that bomb up as well, and it is all the way down at back orange. It's going to be tough to be able to wrap back all the way to back alley to pick that bomb up. Does have dead silence, though, here, so this is your opportunity now.
Yeah, this is your chance back into the round. Gecko not going to be able to hear this time around, but you look at the snaking through the wall. Gecko's ready for the gunfight. Mazo still doesn't matter. 10 seconds. You have to get this bomb down, but instead, Mazo looking for the kill. You don't want the bomb plant. Exib is taking the right route, and I don't know what this play call was from Mazo, but it is not the right play call to make.
Yeah, I think Mazda's hoping that they get chowed there through bottom orange or through middle of the map without a dead silence. Maybe we can pick up an audio cue and not plant the bomb. Didn't want to get caught planting, but you know what? It is search and destroy at the end of the day, Colin. If you don't get that bomb down, you will lose the round as the offense, and that's exactly what we see happen there. Yeah, you do a good job to clutch up your gunfight wins, but unfortunately, Mazo does not walk away with the round victory there for Mars Hill. Tied us back up at 3-3, and it looks like Davenport, again, going to fancy going over towards this B bomb site. They will get that first blood, yet to really move up, though, to try to get this bomb down. Might be trying to bait a rotation here out of Mars Hill.
And a lot of these rounds have been decided between the, again, head-to-head between Slapex and Gecko. Slapex constantly trying to put pressure down towards that A lane. And unchecked, Slapex could really blow this round up, but a lot of pressure here towards orange. Exib's going to close the door. Mazo gets that information, and then Thrax going to go down to a nade, so Mazo's going to be able to jump onto this bomb planter, and Exib blindsided yet again. Sheldon with a sniper, all alone in a 1 versus 3.
And that bomb never goes down either. If this situation may be a little bit easier if a bomb plant actually happens, but unfortunately now Sheldon left all alone. 1 versus 3 should be getting pinched from the back as well. You can see Slapex is starting to wrap around the backside here. Sheldon in a very, very tough spot. Oh, if Sheldon hit that shot, that would have been nuts. Nasty. But unfortunately, Sheldon whiffing them all. And in a 1v3, if maybe you can pick a few heads here, you could walk away with it, but it's not going to hit a single shot here. The flinch not working out in Sheldon's favor at all.
It's windy. It's windy in the embassy, I'll say. Sure, Sheldon didn't get that in the weather forecast, but 1 versus 3, not an easy spot to be in for Sheldon. I will say that was a very strong round out of Mars Hill. Not too aggressive, but not too passive at the same time. You said really banking on the nades to do enough damage for Mazo to really deal that finishing blow onto the bomb planter Exib. So really punishing, and Davenport, you know, next offense that we might see them on, or we will see them on. Hopefully for them, they play that a little bit more passive, patient, see if they can pull some of that pressure off of them from top AC. But an offense of their own for Mars Hill now. Over towards B, they got the trophy systems for early plant as well, Jesse. No first bloods.
Yeah, bomb goes down. AG stays alive as well inside the corner. Gecko should have some sort of an idea that there's going to be a player here in that spot. But AG actually will wrap back to the middle of the map, get away here. But while doing so, 2 of your players on Mars Hill go down. So you're going to have to 2v4 hold here on a retake from Davenport.
AG gets some bad timing there, still alive, 12 HP. Anthrax going to be traded out. AG goes back in towards Gecko. That's going to leave everything down onto the shoulders of Mazo's defuse from Sheldon right away. Mazo can potentially get this kill, and you will, but 12 seconds left. There's plenty of time for Gecko to get the trade and get back on that bomb, Jesse. The Panthers going to keep this one close. 4-4 we go, and can I talk about for Davenport for a second? Anthrax was 1-5, and a lot of these recent rounds, now 5-8, has really been down to a lot of these transitional kills from Anthrax.
Yeah, Anthrax definitely stepping it up in the later half, but the superstar here, this Davenport team, Gecko, 10-5, finds another kill at the end of the round there, just in the nick of time to hop onto that defuse again right after, find that final kill, and now call it. It's basically best of 3 here in these last 3 rounds between these two. First of 2 will walk away with this from these final 3, and I honestly, I could not pick who's going to walk away. It looks like we're going to get a different hit here out of Davenport, though. All 4 players now moving over towards this A bomb site, but immediately first blood still to Marcel.
And difference in play from both sides as Mazzo's going to be spearheading the charge with Slapex, but the car's going to blow up on Sheldon. Leaves us even a little bit, I guess, of a saving grace there for Davenport, Jesse. And look at the explosions for the car. It's a Michael Bay film out here on Embassy.
AG sees Thrax on the rotation. Unfortunately, won't be able to find anything, and Gecko will actually piece AG's teammate through middle of the map. AG will peek, and they will fall as well to Gecko, continuing on this reign of terror throughout this series. Davenport now out of nowhere, Colin. It feels like it's been Marcel is one step ahead this entire map. Now Davenport with a chance to win it.
A chance to go on match point versus Marcel. Who would have thought? Davenport Panthers, they come out hot today in the LCQ. They beat Marcel on the Fortress Hardpoint 250 to 215, and now 5-4 up in the Search and Destroy. This is their opportunity. This is the Davenport that we were wondering, will we see them? And here they are. Exib's going to be pushed away. You hear the oncoming traffic. That is Marcel's players. The stun's going to catch him. Slapex for the kill. It opens up the A site for a plant.
Bomb gonna go down immediately here as well. Sheldon gets caught from AG. Now it's really up to Thrax. If Thrax maybe can find this player on the bomb site, unfortunately will not be able to pick them off. This should be a round here on the board for Marcel if they can hold on.
Oh, nice nade there from Anthrax. Gonna immediately swing off of that. AG's in a little bit of trouble, and Anthrax pieces 2. Mazzo's gonna get a trade, leaving Anthrax alone in a 1 versus 2 situation. 30 seconds left, and the post plant. Look how deep Kalen is playing this one. You just need to play this time. If you're Mazzo, you need to play off this contact. Marcel looking to send this one all the way to around 11. Jesse, there's no time for Anthrax to get both kills. He needs to push the agenda, and it's just not happening. We're going all the way to around 11.
Yeah, and Mazzo in a great spot there just to jump back out from Xbox, check that bomb, make sure nobody's on it. As soon as you see that, with 12 seconds left, that is pretty much the round from that point on. Even though they go down, Kalen just plays their life, wins that final gunfight. And Colin, honestly, I feel like this map here between these two teams, the way that it has been, this would be a disservice if we did not go to round 11 between these two. So fantastic job by both teams all the way throughout this game. But now one final round to Search and Destroy to decide whether or not we go 1-1 through the first 2 maps, or if Davenport will walk into the break with a 2-0 series lead. And right away, Davenport immediately, it looks like we're seeing one of the classic pushes here and a fast push over towards B.
It's a big round from Marcel. It's a big round from Slapex, but Sheldon and Exit with the answer back. You look at AG. AG is the make or break right now. Undetected all the way top Embassy. Dead silence, and Sheldon's going to get traded out 2 versus 2.
Oh, and look at Davenport. They're going to actually choose to wrap this bomb. They realize, hey, we do not have control of this B side of the map. And you would imagine that Marcel at some point is going to realize, hey, we've got full control over here. We do not see a single Davenport player. And once this bomb goes down, they will for sure know now. We should have a very similar setup to what we've seen from Davenport in the last round here. But Marcel going to choose to group up together and push through the offensive side of the map to try to retake this bomb site.
It's going to come down to Exib, sitting on Xbox. Both players going to line up. Exib, a lot of damage, but no kills. The stuns, the nades. Exib on 17, 23 seconds, and Marcel, they're not going down 2-0. They tie up the series in a round 11 on Search.
I love that retake from Marcel. They just choose, hey, you know what? If they want to push this bomb over towards B and get that bomb down there, let them. We're going to retake together, hold hands, play all the way through the backside of the offensive spawn. They push through the back of PD. They find the first blood in the back, and then they perfectly wrap back through. Almost get two-pieced and lined up there, but they play it well enough. They use the suns and nades that they did not use early in the round to full advantage there. But immediately, Colin, we got to hop over towards our second matchup. New Mexico State, Farmingdale State College. It is a 5-4 lead right now for New Mexico State. Farmingdale on the edge of going down or being tied up at 1-1 here in the series.
Yeah, big round here from New Mexico as well. Another situation you don't want to go down 2-0 in your opening match here for the LCQ as we keep the ball rolling. Electric MC going to get a lot of information on the rotation. Unless you don't hear a single one of them, but I doubt you don't hear 4 players on the rotation. A lot going to be on the plate now for Jolteon. Big player back into hard point. Can you do it again here? First kill for Jolteon. Traded out by Spades. Bombs going down.
Free bomb plant, but Electric MC might be able to make a play through middle of the map. We'll find the bomb plant if the bomb does go down. Oze will find a trade. Only player left now, CDL Pubstar, to try to force this into a round 11.
Oh, but you're backed into a corner. That sounds isn't going to help you there. And New Mexico State, the Aggies, they tie us up in the search. So, Jesse, both series that we have to watch out for right now in round number 1, tied 1 apiece. Mars Hill and New Mexico State doing exactly what they need to do.
Wow, really close series here between both teams. We had 2 very good hard points, followed up by 2 very good search and destroys, a 6-5 and then a 6-4 here for Farmingdale and New Mexico State. And Colin, I mean, we're in for a good one here, man. I mean, this Mars Hill Davenport series so far has not disappointed. I mean, what, 250, 215 on map 1, 6-5 on map 2, and that last round, another 2v2 situation, which realistically, let's be honest, Davenport sniffs that play out a little bit sooner. Maybe they win out on that game, and it's a 2-0 series lead here. We're going to get to see some highlights at the end of this one here. I mean, what a close search and destroy between these two teams. Hats off.
Yeah, I mean, this is heating up. I mean, this is what I wanted from LCQ round 11s, game 5s. I want it all. Davenport Panthers, I mean, what a series they've been playing so far through the hard point. They barely scrape out with the win by, what, 35 points. And then round 11, they almost go up 2-0 to Mars Hill Esports. You know, you're sitting here, what could have been, but everybody who's tuning into this one, this is the series that they expected to see. Mars Hill Esports, you don't want to count this team out ever. This is not a team that's going to go silently into the night.
The one player I think that I've been most impressed with while watching Mars Hill here today has been Mazo so far. Mazo looks really, really practiced right now, finding a lot of good timings through middle of the map, especially in this map here. And then when you come down to this final round, you got your 2 big ARs here from Mars Hill, AG and Kalen, gonna clutch up massively here for the team to close out this map. I mean, I said it during the map, and I'll say it again, Colin. It felt like if that map did not go to the full round 11, it would have been a disservice between how close that map was between these two teams. We'll get a final scoreboard here at the end. Gecko, again, doing everything they could at 12-7. Maybe need a little bit more help from the existing players here on the team, because when you look over at Mars Hill, almost a complete effort from all 4 players. Mazo 12-9, AG 11-8, and then you're at least even or right around even from Kalen and Slapex there inside of that map. A very well-rounded effort from Mars Hill.
Now, I will say, you know, a lot of those rounds came down to the head-to-head still between Slapex and Gecko. Slapex was constantly keeping pressure over towards that A site, constantly keeping Gecko really out of the action for a lot of the rounds that Mars Hill won. So, I mean, 7-8, it's not the prettiest scoreline, but it's the dirty work for Slapex. I will give my hats off to AG, who has been having a great search and destroy series, at least in this map number 2 versus Davenport. AG always putting on the pressure towards the inner embassy, always finding that second floor kill. And, you know, on top of all of that, you can trust Mazo has been consistent from start to finish. So 1-1 tied, Jesse, between both of those teams. Same thing with New Mexico State Aggies. I mean, you barely lose out on the Hydro hardpoint. New Mexico State, they were out slaying in map number 1. They weren't able to win the rotations, though. FSC, a very well-practiced team, a very well-put-together and organized squad, just couldn't walk away with the search and destroy.
Yeah, and that map 1 really felt like, for FSC at least, that they got right down to the end. They just won the rotation over to P2, plain and simple, on the final set. And New Mexico State was not able to get that final break here. And this search and destroy, obviously, we don't have the full story. We weren't in there watching the whole game between these two. But, I mean, at least from the final score, it looks like it was close all the way through once again between these two teams. And these highlights, they would definitely go to show that here. But it looks like New Mexico State, at some point in the map, they pull off a little bit of a lead here, and then they never look back once they get that lead through at the middle of the map.
I mean, That's the way the cookie crumbles with Hotel. You piece together a couple rounds in a row, you start to grow your lead, and not so easy to bring this one back. Electric MC, no way! I thought he was going to get all three there, but just barely missing out on it. The Aggies in the end, a 6-4 victory. You see Phenom 14-3 at some point, but I mean, this New Mexico State team has been classy throughout the regular season and in the postseason. I mean, this is a team who made it all the way to the winners final in the Western bracket, played up against Oklahoma Christian. They lost to Oklahoma Christian. Down to the losers bracket they go, where they lose to St. Edwards again. So a little bit of a revenge tour of their own. Like I said, going into today, Jesse, all the teams that we have today in the LCQ qualifiers, they all have a story of their own.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not really surprised that we're 1-1 between all four teams here so far. Marshall and Davenport both looking really good. And then on the other side, I mean, both Farmingdale State College and New Mexico State University, both teams that are very talented. I mean, Farmingdale, yeah, a little bit of a surprise this year, but New Mexico State, I feel like they've been a staple in college COD ever since me and you have started casting college COD. And last year, it was just their first step. This year, looking to make that second step, make it to LAN. They want to impress. And so far, I mean, every team today that we've watched has looked very good and like they can make some noise on LAN.
Well, both series tied up 1 apiece on either end. Jesse, we're going to get things ready for the control. We'll come back. We'll continue with this action here for the CCL LAN qualifiers in a moment, folks. Stay tuned. I know that Marseille are usually stronger on.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy right now between these two teams because it feels like the sub battle has been getting won by Mars Hill, but the AR battle has been getting won by Davenport. We'll just have to wait and see as this match continues on, but that really does feel like kind of the tail of the tape between these two teams, if you will, to start this series off. But it's just Gecko all alone right now over on the A zone. Will end up falling, and it looks like immediately Davenport going to choose to focus over towards B after coming up spawn.
Anthrax is going to try to put as much pressure towards B as you can, and Anthrax is even going to find that kill onto Mazo, so that opens up the lane, opens up a chance to hop onto this B zone, stop that timer. And they are actually not going to hop it just yet. They're going to wait till Gecko gets there to hop onto triple. Axib's going to be finding a couple kills over through the map. The middle of the map is going to get cleared out from Marseille players. And Mazo, eventually you need to get some pressure back onto B, because even though it's slowly, this is some ticks, this is some segments that you do not want to give up. And luckily for Marseille, they don't give up B. Instead, it's the pressure at A that's really taking control.
Yeah, Gecko, again, kind of by themselves over here, over at A. Gets a tick of progress. Going to start to work on that second tick here now as well. Unfortunately, they won't be able to stop AG, who's running around the bottom of their building inside of billiards right now, just being annoying. And this second tick of progress does come through, though, Colin. They've got 2 ticks, maybe the third tick on the way. Gecko just looking through their side double doors. Yeah, this looks like this should be good. They find the kills here inside of billiards. They get the A zone completed. And they've already got half a tick of progress on the B as well. This could end up being a very good round for Davenport if they can find an early wipe here at B.
Yeah, right now, Davenport doing a great job at being sporadic, not allowing Marcel to stay comfortable in this map. Maso through enemy lines is going to be able to control that pressure towards B. Still, that first tick is about 3/4 of the way done towards B. So, Marcel, the fact that they're not neutralizing this, a little bit surprising to me.
So important right now, though, that Marcel keeps a player up over in this spot. Either you need to keep AG up here, or you need to keep Slapex up over towards the top left-hand side of the mini-map there. Just to keep a player up, just so that you don't lose out on those post spawns. Because you can see, once you start to lose some of those players and you spawn out where player number 8 just spawned up, it is very tough to get back over towards that point and be able to shut these players down. But 3 kills now go in the favor of Davenport. You've only got 1 player left, and that's a full wipe. Gecko again looking so strong here in the map.
Gecko deletes AG, and now Anthrax in a position to punish. Mazo needs to go big right now. Third tick getting worked on. Mazo undetected, clears off the B zone.
Wow.
And Anthrax is going to be dealt with as well towards Patio, so Exib, no chance to hop back onto B. That was a big moment for Mazo.
Just in time, shuts that tick down, and now Exhibit, unfortunately can't find that kill there as well. And this is some really big kills coming in from Marcel. You were down pretty large in lives. Now it's only a 2 life disparity. You still need to hold on for 35 seconds here inside of the round, but at least you get some map control going your way.
Just a little bit of map control, but with 6 lives left, Marcel cannot afford another wipe. Sheldon's going to get cut down by, with Kalen. Sheldon's going to hop right onto this, and I don't think anybody's going to get here in time. A big flank from Mars Hill pays off to absolutely no, fruition at all. You just see the big full flank from Mars Hill all the way through the spawn of Davenport, and Davenport, they just hop onto B and nobody stops them. Nobody even tries to stop them.
I mean, it gives them enough time, right, to restabilize, get a few more kills through middle of the map, and give them a chance at the round. Holding on to one tick of progress over at that B zone is always going to be very hard to close out, right? And you know what? They fought it. They gave it the good old college try, if you will, but unfortunately not able to get it done at the end of that. And now, you find yourself down one, you're going to have to answer back with an offensive round win of your own, and you're really going to need to get Kalen and Slapex going here inside of these respawns. 2-7, 3-7 to start the game off. You need to be better than that for Marcel.
That's what we're built on here, Jesse, in College COD. The good old college try. AG gonna pave the way over towards this A zone. Timer gonna be stagnant at minute 9. Exif up top. Nice shots there on the Slapex. A couple trades still for Mars Hill, but Anthrax on the flank gonna continue to keep Kalen on his toes. Exib's gonna get the finisher. Only a tick lost at A.
And Exif. This is such an annoying head glitch to play with. And they're going to snake it from the top of the boxes here.
That's rude.
Over that wall. I mean, it is hard to win a gunfight on that wall in the first place. And then you start snaking the wall as well. That is just disrespectful, Exib. And you can see exactly how annoying that can be. As you can see now, the Marcel players, they're going to start to try to wrap out through middle of the map to try to find some different openings because nobody wants to deal with Exib who's sitting up top there.
AG is going to clear out top patio. A little bit of eyes onto Axib. The attention's going to be there for Marcel. Big win from Maso onto Sheldon across the map. So Marcel going to open things up a little bit more, solidify their stance at A. And for the rest of Davenport, they need to make sure that no pressure on B turns into a segment. Sheldon, this is such a big gunfight. You have the help of Exib, so the pressure at B is gone, but might cost you the A zone in a moment. Anthrax, it looks like they've done enough to slow down Marcel for now.
Yeah, they've got a large spread over at A right now if you're Mars Hill, and as soon as one of the players from Davenport hops on, it was Thrax, they get knocked immediately here. That should be the A zone completed. Gecko will take one final shot at it. It will not stop that from going through. You get a bit of 3 life lead here if you're Mars Hill to work with, but now comes the hard part. You need to make the break over towards B, but look at the forward progression right now from the Davenport players.
That's what I was going to highlight. 3 and 4, Sheldon and Exib have completely taken control of the Mars Hill spawn. That needs to be step 1 for Mars Hill. Take a look at where these players are going to spawn back up deep into their own side of the map. So if you want to cross that soccer field, you're going to have to take care of Sheldon and Exib at some point. And Sheldon just trying to be as annoying as they can. The first pillar is going to fall. Exib, all attention is going to be on him. Stun's going to connect, so they know that Exib's going to be lurking around here, and AG not going to be able to get the jump onto that player. Pressure over towards B, but unless they get rid of Exib, they're going to be a little stuck right now. Davenport, they have Marcel exactly where they want them.
Yeah, the respawn kill is going down either way, but Kalen will get dropped. He was sitting up top of the big hill overlooking the B zone. And now if you're Davenport, you can kind of stabilize again a little bit here. You're not allowing them to come break into the B zone. And then also, only 20 seconds left on the clock here. If you're Marcel, you're going to have to go quick here, and you need to get on to stop this clock. But it is not going to be an easy task because you can see all the Davenport players continuing to spawn up close.
Maso denied by the trophy. Slaypack's going to be on the inside. Exit again for the shutdown. 11 seconds left. 9 lives to 8. So, AG, you need to stay alive right now. The tick is going to be cemented. The first one's going to be there, but time to play with right now is Davenport. But what they don't know is Mazo's going to be in your back spawn. So, Mazo's going to get some eyes onto Sheldon. Thrax, the trade, the pressure here from Davenport, but they need to look into it. Kalen's going to be alone. 1 versus 3 for the point control, and Kalen overwhelmed. That's going to be the round for Davenport. Nobody's going to be able to touch Jesse. 2-0 lead in the control.
And they were not ready for Gecko to overextend. Gecko overextends all the way through the top side of the map and finds that final kill that they need through fences to get this last player off of the B zone. Yes, Exhibit will find that final kill here in the kill cam, but the kill to kind of really stop that push and really slow that one down comes from Gecko there. Another big heads up play from the man. I mean, only 10 and 13 right now here inside of this map, but the gunfights that they're winning and the the slaying prowess that we've seen from them through maps 1 and 2, Gecko has been a all-star here throughout this series. And so far, it really feels like within the respawns, Mars Hill is doing enough to keep these close, but Davenport just seems to have that little bit of an edge right now, Colin.
Gecko and Exib really keeping Marcel on their toes. And look at that. They're going to open up the round yet again. Exib's going to be traded out. Sheldon falls as well. Gecko's got to be a little bit careful here. There's a flank from Kalen, and Gecko reads him like a book. So Slaypex and Kalen are going to be shut down, and that A-zone starting to get worked on. Jesse, the first tick is a sure thing, but you need to be watching for player number 8, Mazo, who's going to be looking in on this zone. If Mazo goes down, you might need to chalk this A zone. It looks like Mazo doesn't even want it just yet. Might be looking for the flank.
Yeah, I think you might need to just chalk it anyways. Already 2 ticks of progress down. You've got 2 players on the zone, so it's going quickly here as well. They do end up getting one. Maybe you take one final shot at this, but I don't know if it's worth it. Unfortunately, you don't get the zone. You lose out on your lives as well. Gecko continues to go massive, and now there's an opening and an opportunity to wrap over towards B.
There is Exib continuing to find kills. 24 playing 19 in favor of the Panthers. Exib's just going to go back into their comfort zone, which is looking to see if you can prey on a couple of these respawning Martial players. Exib's going to be shut down. That's a big kill for Martial to exit their spawns. Nobody on B just yet, but plenty of time for Davenport to work this map.
Keep your eyes on player 8. Mazo's going to be making a big play through the middle of the map. They're going to try to get up in behind the Davenport players here coming off spawn. They're going to go up inside of the top billiards to try to find a few of these players up in this top window. They'll find Exib. Can't find anything else here, but at the very least, you're going to make the Davenport players have to think about the fact that you do have a player behind you in your spawn.
Yeah.
Clearing that will be step 1, and this should slow down the offense a little bit.
What they don't know is the Anthrax still lurking around B. The kill onto Exib does open up tools control, so Martial are going to be able to get some sight lines onto Anthrax eventually. Mazo is still alive here, and looks like Mazo is just listening for these players and continuing to see if you can tally these kills back down to an even round count. Martial, they are at a deficit of 9 segments to 5 in favor of Davenport, so realistically, if you're looking for that round number 5, you need to deny all 3 ticks of progression here at B.
And Mazo still continuing to be annoying in the spawn of Davenport. Just picking these players off as they come off and just being very, very annoying in this spot here. Finds another one, and again, look at this. Gets out with their life. This is exactly all you need to do. Just find a kill, show your presence is still there, because as the Davenport players come off spawn, they have to clear you out. Otherwise, you will continue to shut them down and continue to be annoying here. Finally, Mazo might get shut down here. Finally gets put in the dirt, and if you're Davenport, they have wasted so much of your time. You only have 20 seconds to work over towards B now.
Gecko's going to green like this, but Sheldon goes down to the fence. Gecko and Exib through tools, going to be funneling right into these gunfights. Gecko's going to be able to get one, but that's about it. Anthrax going to be cut down, and if you look at the time, there's nothing left for Davenport in this round, so you're going to chalk it up to 3 segments towards A, and you're just going to look towards round number 4.
You're going to chalk that round up to Mazo winning that round for you if you're Marcel. You were in a very rough spot. Mazo makes a heads-up play to just re-wrap through the middle of the map. They go all the way up to the opponent's top side of their building from their window and starts shutting down the Davenport players. They had to have been alive for at least a minute there, top billiards, just being annoying as ever to the Davenport players. Anytime they came off spawn, you pick one, you run away, play your life, and Mazo did it to perfection now. 21 and 14 in the map, keeping Marcel alive there in that last round.
2-1 we go for Davenport. Martial. It's now or never. You want to see an advantage here. The respawn still a little bit worried for Martial as you look at this opening from Davenport all through the middle of the map.
Oh, no.
Gecko gets 2. And yeah, oh no is right. Looking for a little bit more. So far, flawless for Davenport. Nobody has died yet, Jesse, until Anthrax. But Sheldon's going to step up right where his teammate left off.
Oh, but this is tough, though. Very hard to get beat out of your spawn once you get put back inside of this spawn trap here, because you can see every angle at the moment being watched by at least one Davenport Panther player. Unfortunately for Davenport, Gecko will go down. That's going to open up an ability to at least work your way through billiards, get up to your top side of your building, and maybe, just maybe, get out of A and get into a spot where you can start to get a little bit of progression here. They've found their way out of the spawn trap at the very least.
Second floor control right now. Exib and Mazo kind of been going toe-to-toe. A little bit of a dance between the both players. Sheldon inside A. The backup here with Gecko, so still control for Davenport, and there's only 30 seconds left, so Mars Hill, you don't want to go down 2-1 in this series. 22 seconds is all you have to play for. 25 lives playing 15. The Anthrax is going to take down Mazo. Shoot him right in the back. Kalen's going to make one last push over towards B with AG. A little bit of map control here for Marcial, but no room for mistake. You need exit to be taken down, but Sheldon's going to find the kill. Anthrax and Gecko, they chime in. 7 seconds left. AG looking to salvage this round, but no. Shut down by the Panthers as Davenport go up 2-1 in the series.
Wow, what a last round there from Davenport. Really take things back into their own control there, and they walk away with a 3-1 victory on the map, shutting things down in that last round. And it was off the back of a fantastic break-off, Colin. A full 4-man wipe. Everybody flies forward. I think they had 7 kills before you even had a kill on the board for Marcial inside of that last round. And at the end of it all, Marcial just never able to stabilize there. And I mean, you can see it on the board. Everybody on the side of Davenport, positive across the board. A very good even map from them. And oh my God, Colin, we're already into map 4 here for Farmingdale State and New Mexico State.
Don't know what the score is of the series. Don't know who took the control, but TBD between you and I, Jesse. I will say, it's postseason, baby, and anything can happen right now. FSC up 2-1 after taking that control. New Mexico State Aggies on match point right now. They don't want to lose out on here. Looking to push it all the way to another search and destroy, but we are tied up, Jesse, on hotel hard points. And Carbonize is going to be watching the push towards restaurant while Taz is making sure you can keep control of the flank.
And if we're looking at it here, we did just get the heads up from production. So it was a 3-0 Expo win for Farmingdale. So they take that swing map mode. Farmingdale looked a little bit better in the hard point. New Mexico State looked a little bit better in the search and destroy between these two teams. So if you're Farmingdale, you're wanting to close this one out here, and they're doing a great job off this game so far. Now a 30-second lead. This P5 hill has been very good for them here in this map.
It is 123 for FSC as they continue to climb onto the board here. Another 4 down for New Mexico State. Look at Phenom. Gonna hit the overextension. Carbonize, looks like you get eyes onto this player. The stun check's gonna be there and feeds the information over towards Tez. So everybody's gonna have their eyes on towards this rotation now towards P6, Jesse. Carbonize might be able to get here first. But a knife from Spades is going to put a little bit of a wrench in their plan. Spades with the team kill might have just opened things up for the Aggies. Fortunately, though, for the Aggies, Jose is going to go down. So all eyes forward right now for FSC.
If you're Spades, you need to go massive here now for your team, and unfortunately you go down, and that's going to be an early break on the hill for New Mexico State University. They get in, they force the spawn in, and they know exactly where to look for these Farmingdale State College players. Everybody spawning up towards bedroom, towards middle of the map, and they know how to pick them off. Top luggage, it does not matter. Jolteon in a great spot to shut things down as these players come off, and this is fantastic from the side of New Mexico State. This could bring you right back inside of this map and get you into a spot where you are very, very close to being able to tie things up going into the second set of rotations.
I mean, it really can. One thing that was a big talking point back on the Hydro hardpoint on why it was so close, Jesse, was New Mexico State, the Aggies, they were outslaying Farmingdale State College from start to finish. I would say 8-16 from Electric MC, 4-18 from Oze, Jolteon 8-9. Not too many engagements, but even still, if the Aggies want to see a map number 5, you need to start seeing some of that slaying magic that we had back on Hydro, and Electric MC is looking like it's his time to heat up.
I will say, I mean, if you can start to pick up the lane as New Mexico State in this map, you'll be in a great spot because, I mean, everybody on the side of Farmingdale right now is positive at the moment, and the game is only a 20-point game. You're actually have an opportunity to now take the lead going into Hill 2 of the second set of rotations, and you are being outslayed by easily, it looks like about 20 kills right now between the two teams. So if you're Farmingdale State, you need to kind of start picking this up, start playing a little bit more normal hardpoint, and trying to get some time here on a lot of these hills, because the fact that this lane is so wide and you're only winning by 20 points at the moment is not a good thing if you're Farmingdale State.
Not at all. A little bit of that composure, a little bit of that rotation success from Farmingdale State. Not transitioning here in the hotel. They do have the lock on P2 right away, but Electric MC is going to jump the gun right into the hill. Tez back down to 15. Has to stay alive here, but Phenom's going to get the kill. Phenom finds a pair of kills, so 2 kills to open up this hill. You don't have control just yet. Still fighting for that is going to be Carbonized in the back, but Oze now, with the help of Phenom, inside of this hill, getting the necessary kills to just continue to box away Farmingdale State for now. You just need to worry about Carbonized here. Carbonized finds Phenom. That opens it back up.
Carbonized stays alive for so long in the back to just stay annoying. Keep this hill in a spot where you don't feel comfortable if you're New Mexico State. And they've burned about 40 seconds off, and neither team yet to get any significant time here on this hill. And at this point, if you're either team, you're looking at the rotation now over towards Kitchen. Farmingdale State never had the spawns on the back there, but Carbonized stays alive long enough to be annoying and not allow New Mexico State to get a good chunk of time. And you should be able to get a good solid hold here now if you're Farmingdale State. But Electric MC once again finds that first kill. Could that be an opening now?
The Rams on rotation. Oze, it's his turn to get involved. A little bit of flank you got to worry about, and Oze unaware. Spades deals with that pressure. Two-prong attack from the Aggies, but Jolteon goes down, so now just down to Phenom and Electric MC to open things up. Electric MC maybe pulling a couple of that attention back, but Tez on the front line, damage down. Into the hill we go for the Aggies. Tez says no. Pubstar here to back things up. 3 players on the inside for FSC looking to lock this hill down, but Phenom and Jolteon knocking on the door. New Mexico looking for the break back in, and they're going to take it.
Oh, they find the break just in the nick of time, but they find the break again here inside of the map. So they'll get the last 15 seconds or so, but when you look across, Colin, again, Farmingdale State, they choose, hey, that's all, just 15 seconds. We'll give it up, and we will set up for a full hold here in the new hill. Tez looking to try to find this kill onto Jolteon. That's a big one. You'll get top bedroom control, and Pubstar actually holds the spawn through Shandy as well. So this is a good setup right now for FSC. This is going to be a tough break from New Mexico State. They need to work together. You can't hit this one at a time.
Winner's advantage has been crazy for FSC. Just one step ahead of New Mexico State time and time again. Electric MC is going to be looking for some eyes on, but instead they're going to give their positioning away. Tez through the door, a little bit awkward, but it's going to be Tez still walking away with that kill. 2:35, you can win this here. Phenom's going to go big, but Tez another shutdown. All going to be riding onto the shoulders of Jolteon, but Farmingdale State College looking to strike first in their round robin. 5 seconds left. It's down to Oze to stay alive, but Tez, as you take that kill, as Jolteon going to be boxed out by CCL Pubstar, they go up 1-0 in their round robin.
They do. A 3-1 series lead here for Farmingdale State College. A great job from there at the end of that game. They outslayed all the way through over New Mexico State, and ultimately that ends up being the difference there. But New Mexico State, I mean, you got to tip your hats. Getting outslayed like that and keeping the game that close, very, very hard to do. Again, we got to highlight one player in particular here on Farmingdale State College. Tez, 30 and 17. What a map out of Tez. Both hard points really showing up here for Farmingdale State College. If you're going up against this FSC team today, you need to find a way to slow Tez down if you want to win.
Yeah, you know, I will say a little bit not as comfortable as you would have hoped with how much that Farmingdale State were outslaying in that hotel hardpoint, Jesse, but it's almost the same thing that we saw back in map number 1. But roles reversed, and Farmingdale State, they look good in the hard points, they look good in the control, as that 3-0 on Expo is something that you're going to have to note if you're looking to veto maps out on this team going forward. But we take a look back to our main matchup. Mars Hill down 2-1 versus the Davenport Panthers, something not a lot of people had on their bingo card today.
And this Embassy map was a map that we actually saw Davenport look really good on against St. Clair in that first series that we saw them play. But then in the second series, St. Clair takes the map off of them as well. So again, kind of which Davenport are we going to see here? But so far through it today, the respawns have looked very good for them. This map, another map that we've seen them again look very good on through the playoffs. So Kiana, keep your eyes on Davenport here. This could be a tough one for Marshall to walk away with the win.
There's the Cats and there's the Panthers. And right now we got the Panthers, Jesse. Davenport look great against Mars Hill. They know that their life is on the line for their CCL season, so what could decide the top seed leaving this round robin? Davenport, they're looking to take it by storm. AG trying to stay alive on the inside of the hill. Axib's going to get the break for now, but back and forth again. The trade's going to nullify this hill for a moment until Mars Hill, they wipe the board of Davenport. They hop back in, and Kalen, a 6-0 start to the hard point.
And another player who's really starting to pop off here inside the hard point as well, Slapex. We've been waiting and waiting, Colin, for this player to come alive here in this series. On a 4 spree here, could possibly find some streaks early in this game as well. If you give 2 cruise missiles at the start of a game, that is going to be very tough to come back from.
Well, Jesse, we got polar opposites. Gecko 0-6, Kalen 6-1. Night and day from what we've seen throughout this. Gecko has been the saving grace for a lot of these maps for Davenport, but this time around he needs to start heating up if you want to win it out here. Mazo Slapex going to lock down this hill. Not going to allow Gecko to budge either. It's 3 clean kills for Marcel.
Oh my god, and Mazo also now on 5 in a row, Colin. Has an opportunity to maybe find a cruise missile too. It looks like they want to try to bury them and bury them early here inside of this game. You actually give the information there from the cruise and Slapex over to Mazo to find a cruise of their own. That is 3 cruise missiles in 3 hills going the way of Marcel off the start of this game. And you can see the slaying prowess of this Marcel Esports team much better here through this map, and that is why you're seeing this big lead start to develop early on.
It's not even the slaying, Jesse. It's the fundamentals. It's the little things that are going a long way right now for Marcel. AG to be spotted by Exib. Nice clear there for Davenport to take control of this rotation, but the action's not done just yet. Kalen's found their way in. Anthrax gonna keep them on their toes for now. A little bit of dance for control. Here comes the cavalry from Marcel. The contention back in, but Anthrax immediately gonna deal with the pressure. Hiding behind the desk. You need a little bit of support here if you're Anthrax. Can they walk out on top? They can. Davenport gonna find the kills. Gonna take the points.
They do, and now if you're Davenport, you're going to try to slow these players down off to respawn, but everybody on Marcel, they are getting aggressive. They're going to start to fly through tennis. They're hitting actually from all different sides into this hill, and this should be a break back immediately. That's a beautiful orchestrated break there from Marcel. Everybody comes off spawn. They hit from 3 different angles. Nobody on Davenport has a chance to hold on to that. And honestly, outside of Thrax making this final push, this should be the last 15 seconds easily going the way of Marcel. You do get a little bit of time there if you're Davenport, but again, about a 50-point lead and counting as we look to head over towards Kitchen. Davenport needs a big hole to bring themselves back on this map.
And the Maestro Mazo right now just orchestrating such a beautiful melody through the map for Marcel. Kalen and look to put some pressure onto the spawns. Sheldon, however, going to get a huge kill. Sheldon in the backline, 3 in a row. Can you get 4? AG says no. 113 and counting. These 45 seconds can push Marcel even deeper into an advantage. Anthrax to the door, just going to burst onto site. Can't find the second kill. A team kill, however, from Mazo. Going to keep this contention alive for Davenport as Gecko. It's his turn, but unfortunately for Gecko, Mazo's just been a little bit too hot to deal with right now in the kitchen. Back in control of Marcel.
Wow, Marcel find a way to break in the kitchen. That's a tough break, and they made it look easy from the front there. You get a little pushback, but not enough to shut things down, and they are very focused inside of this hill on keeping these doors closed and making it tough for Davenport to break their way back in. Only about 10 seconds left on the hill. Davenport will find their way forward, but it is not going to be enough to really make a big difference. At the end of the first set of rotations, almost double the points here to Marcel that you get on the side of Davenport.
139 to 69, Jesse. P2 or second set of rotations. Plenty of time on the play clock too, so lots to hash out right now between both of these teams. Davenport falling flat though deep into the series. Map number 4 hasn't been kind to them just yet. Big key players to look for a turnaround is going to be Exib here on the sub roll, and not only that, Gecko 9 and 12. You're going to need a turnaround from the heroes sooner or later, or you might be looking at a map 5 search and destroy. 146 to 71. About a double, 2 times the points for Marcel right now.
And they're continuing to run it up here too. Locking down some time on P1. Not a lot of time, but you know, a little bit of time here. Keeping it respectable. And now also looking to win the rotation over towards P2. They have parking control. It's really going to come down to these gunfights between AG and Sheldon. In the backline here, a good nade over the top will find Sheldon with some help from Slapex. And the rest of the kills continuing to go the way of Marcel. You do get a few kills back though. Exib finds a massive 2-piece. That's going to stabilize sponsor Davenport.
Gecko just needs to stay alive here. Fumbling for their life, and Anthrax going to go down, so you lose out on your wingman, you lose out on your life. Caitlyn going to get the kill to open up this site for now. Exib trying to continue to hold this, and you got Sheldon on the long angle, taking down 3 to allow Exib to stay in contention for this hill. And Davenport, this is some much-needed time to make this comeback happen. Slaypex, it looks like you're going to take one last shot at this, Jesse.
And let's not forget here, if you're Mars Hill, you need to win this map. You can't lose it, otherwise you are out of the series. It'll be a 3-1 victory for Davenport. If you're Mars Hill, you're trying to force us into a Game 5, and you looked very good in that initial search and destroy. So you want to get there. You give you an opportunity to walk away with a series victory here once again. And when we head over towards top AC, the early portion of the hill, it's going to be going to Mars Hill. But Davenport, they are surrounding, and it looks like they are going to be attempting to make a break very soon.
Two teams that we expect on LAN, Jesse, but Davenport hitting a new strides today in College COD. Can they put this to rest in 4? Anthrax on the wing. Nice shots there, and Amazo deletes him off the head glitch. Now up the ladder, but unfortunately AG going to be watching that like a hawk. AG and Kalen locking down this time. Sheldon, one last break for Davenport. They get in for 25 seconds. Focus on the rotation, though, as AG, it's going to be Gecko on rotation, doesn't check the corner, and fortunately for Davenport, nobody now inside of this.
It's okay. If you're Davenport, though, you'll take this time. That was a free 25 seconds of scrap time that you will gladly take to give yourself an opportunity to get back inside of this game. But like you said, Colin, the hard part comes now. You need to find a way to break into PD. It's not an easy building to break your way into. You don't have any spawns. You don't have any map control at the moment. And unfortunately, Mars Hill going to keep dropping streaks, going to keep getting that extra information that they need to on you. And so far, so good here from Mars Hill. Nobody from Davenport able to get within 15 meters of the hill.
And one of 2 streaks going to be burned on this one, just continuing to keep Davenport at arm's reach and beyond, you'd feel, for the way that this is looking. Mars Hill now looking to put this in the history book. Send us to a map number 5. Late break here for Davenport to hold on tight. 1 versus 1 from AG. AG gets 7 in a row, and the time continues to push in their favor. You can get around 5 points away from a victory off of this hill.
Mars Hill and slaying out on Embassy. I mean, that might as well just go hand in hand with the way that you're seeing this team play it out right now. They're going to get to about 6 points from closing this map out. They're going to drop another cruise missile. They'll find Gecko in the back. Slaypex will actually play perfectly off of that here as well, as now they look to push forward. Slaypex needs to find a break from the front. Will actually get some help from Kalen as well, and Mars Hill are in with a chance to win here.
Nobody's going to touch in time. That 5 seconds is going to go so fast. And Mars Hill Esports down but not out. They climb back in the hard point. They hold the lead from start to finish. And they send us all the way, Jesse, to a map number 5. Mars Hill, a team that we expect on LAN. Like I said, both of these 2 teams you expect on LAN. Mars Hill had a near flawless season through the regular season and post, but you lose out to the Dragons. You're a little bit upset going into the LAN qualifiers, and here you are, a big ticket match against Davenport, which could decide seeding going into the head-to-heads. We're going to a map number 5. You couldn't ask for a better story.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you look at this Mars Hill team and this Davenport Panthers team, I said it after map 2, that map 2, it only felt right if we went to a round 11 with how close that was. But if with this series, Colin, it only feels right with how close every single map has been that we see a Game 5. And hopefully a Game 5 round 11 with these 2 teams. Because the last Search and Destroy was a ton of fun to watch. This next Search and Destroy will be a ton of fun to watch between these 2 teams once again here. And we'll get to see some highlights. This game was dominated, though. Outside of any maps mode so far, this has been the most dominant we have seen one of the 2 teams looked, and it was all Mars Hill from the beginning here in this map, and the slaying prowess is what won them this map. There was hands down a slaying differential in this game.
And you talk about how this was almost like an orchestra, or orchestrated for Mars Hill Esports, and you gotta say the maestro of the pressure, the pacing, the rhythm, anything that you can ask for Mars Hill. Mazo has been crazy this series, 25-16 at this moment, but he doesn't slow down, constantly keeping pressure on Davenport for rotations, constantly finding breaks into hills, and you know, the Panthers, you just can never put a leash on that player. So Mazo was always making the big plays to keep Mars Hill a little bit ahead on the Embassy hard point. So they tie us up. Map number 5, Jesse, we go back to the Search and Destroy, and I mean, we know how that Embassy map number 2 went. It was neck and neck all the way through to around 11, so, I mean, this series, it seems about even right now.
Yeah, and we're going back to a fortress as well, if I'm correct. And I think that between these two teams, I could see that being a very close map once again. We saw on map 1 when it was a hard point on fortress, how close it was between the two, back and forth all the way through. Davenport got the edge at the very end of the game, but it's almost the exact same story when you looked at that Embassy Search and Destroy. Back and forth all the way through. Mars Hill got the edge at the end of that one there. So I think it's whoever is gonna win will end up being the team that just ices up more, plain and simple at the end of that one, because these two teams seem so evenly matched, Colin. My only worry right now for Davenport, after seeing that last map there and getting outslayed like that, does that hinder the confidence at all going inside of that game 5?
I'd imagine from what we saw throughout this whole series, both teams are locked in, Jesse. You're in gamer position right now if you're Davenport and Marcel. And this game 5 is going to be a haymaker. It's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be everything you want it to be, folks. But as we get ready for this map 5, we're going to cut to a quick break. Take a little bit of a second to get things going. We'll be back shortly with some more LAN qualifiers. See you on the other side. Welcome back to the CCL LAN qualifiers. We have a banger series to start things off between Davenport Panthers and Marseille, going all the way to a game number 5. But Jesse, before we finish things off with this game 5, we got to see the Farmingdale State College team go up against New Mexico. I was saying that New Mexico State were a little bit of a dark horse in my eyes going into today, and they looked good. But Farmingdale State College just a little bit better throughout this best of 5, throughout the hard points and the control. New Mexico State, they miss out and lose out 3-1.
Yeah, Farmingdale State College going to start off very, very well inside of their group there. Going to take a nice lead. I mean, now, don't get it twisted either. This group, by any means, is not going to be easy with JMU still lurking in the wings for either of these teams. But Farmingdale State, they'll win all 3 respawns out. They'll take a 1-0 lead, give themselves a good opportunity to shake out and get into the bracket play, or sorry, not the bracket play, but into a play-in match, if you will. But Colin, we got to get back to our featured matchup here. Mars Hill Esports, Davenport Panthers, 2-2. We have seen some banger matches between these two, and now we go to a game number 5. And I mean, Colin, I could not be more excited. Search and Destroy, I love it. It's my favorite game mode. And I mean, these two teams, they have looked stellar through both of them so far.
Well, let's get loud. Let's get proud for our teams. Marseille, Davenport. Who would have thought this is going to go all the way to a game number 5? We hope to see it. And here we are. Starting off with the first blood, though, will be Mazo, continuing with the success on defense for Marseille. Look at that, bomb down as well, so Gecko has to go and recover it, and Mazo is still in a position to just listen for these players. It's round 1, so you're not going to have dead silence.
No, and really no map control at all here for Davenport. You don't have an opportunity to wrap out, so really your only play right now is to either find a pick through middle of the map or just kind of force your way into Gallows and try to find an opening here inside of this one. But unfortunately, you're going to break your way through. Sheldon actually will find first. I thought Mazo might be in a spot to shut that down, but the nade and the gunfights come through over the top, and it's just Anthrax all alone now.
Apex, a little bit of bait and switch with Kalen, and you get right back into that hill for Mars Hill. What a round 1. I mean, just never letting go of the gas. Mazo strikes first, and nobody getting over aggressive to give up their life.
Now, I think the one thing that I noticed a lot, Colin, in the last Search and Destroy that we saw between these two teams was just the fact that every time Mars Hill got into a situation where they had a man advantage and they were in a spot where they could win, they were so practiced and patient in a lot of those situations. So if you're Davenport, you got to make sure you're not finding yourself down a man in a lot of these rounds, because Mars Hill will make you pay for it. We saw that a lot inside of the last series, and a little bit over aggressive through the middle of the map, and an instant 3-1 lead here. It's just Gecko left alive.
Yeah, Gecko quickly finding themselves backed up against the ropes, and the pressure does not stop in round 1, Jesse. They continue to run over the Panthers. 2 quick rounds, and Mazo, again, I said the maestro of this team. It comes down to the pacing of the map, and 4-0 start to the Search and Destroy across the first 2 rounds.
And a really good start there, too. I mean, just a perfect blind counter to start the game off, it felt like, from Mars Hill. You saw they were completely prepared for that jump up through middle of the map into top single. They get that first kill there. They find a second over the top of Gallows, and they just make that push into A that much easier for themselves there in the round. And this time through, it looks like actually Mars Hill was trying to get a little aggressive through middle of the map. Not going to find any kills, and actually a 2-kill lead now. Instantly to Davenport. Bomb should go down quite easily here at A.
And this time around, the aggression is going to come back to haunt them for Marcel. Bomb goes down. Sheldon watching over Exib. Slapex thought they could get a little bit of an exit, maybe even up in life count, but instead, AG now caught in a 1 versus 3. Exib's going to spot him out. AG's able to at least continue this round. 1 versus 2 now, but 30 seconds left. Not a lot of time to work with. Gecko in ammunition. Sheldon all the way deep back in their spawn. They have a trophy system as well, so they don't have to worry about too much coming their way. Sheldon and Gecko playing off of each other. 13 seconds left. AG, you need to find this kill if you want to win this round, and Sheldon's not giving you anything.
No, AG knew it too. AG needed to get aggressive and win that gunfight there, but they couldn't get too far away from the bomb with the time that was left. And Davenport, they played the time to perfection there. Sheldon knows, hey, I just got to stay alive long enough to be able to check this bomb one last time on Gallows and make sure they can't walk away with that round victory there. The internal clock working to full effect there for Sheldon, able to walk away with that round victory. That's a big answer back to you. Can't go down 3 early. 3-0 that early to Mars Hill, it would have been very tough to come back from. So Davenport with a big answer.
Yeah. Don't want to be down 3-0 on a fortress search too, Jesse. So here we go. We switch things up once more. Davenport's trying to see if they can string together too. Tie us back up. Pressure over towards this A-bomb, but take a look at Mazo. Just watching the route through bottom art. Expecting the aggression out of Davenport, which hasn't really shown. Davenport playing a lot more passive this time on defense, and if they get a little bit ahead of themselves, Mazo might be able to break out from Art, find a kill onto a player from behind, but instead, Anthrax, that's a huge kill onto AG to get the bomb down.
Yeah, an initial start to this round, very, very slow from Davenport, much slower than we saw inside of that round number 1. But Mazo all through bottom Art, thought they had the opening, thought they had the opportunity to push up, but unfortunately do not. You still find yourself down a man here. Kalen has to get aggressive, and unfortunately, it is all up to Slapex here. 1 versus 3, just trying to get out with your life at this point.
I said that, Mazo, you're just expecting Davenport to get a little bit ahead of themselves, but that patience pays off. Mazo, they're the one who jumps the gun, and Davenport able to string together 2 rounds and even us back up.
And 2 really good rounds. I think that's a big adjustment that we see immediately there from Davenport. I think those first 2 rounds a little bit too aggressive, a little bit too fast through middle of the map, and immediately they recognize, hey, we can't be playing like this. We go down too early, 2-0 very early here to Mars Hill. Let's slow this pace down completely, make Mars Hill have to come to us. Let's make them force the mistakes, because once we start throwing our bodies early on in these rounds and we find ourselves down early in these man advantages, that's when Mars Hill takes full advantage, and we've seen that so far here, but a good answer back from Davenport nonetheless. And this time, actually, we'll get 2 very slow pushes from either team. Mars Hill, very slow on defense. Davenport, really no map control at all and not pushing into A very heavily at all.
Here comes Mazo, 6-2. First blood again for Mars Hill, opening up the map, forcing the attention from the Panthers away from that bomb site. And immediately, as Mazo opens up the lane, AG seals the deal with a kill onto Sheldon in the backline. So even if Anthrax and Exib get this bomb planted at A, there is no way you can watch every single route that is now open. Mars Hill, they do exactly what's necessary to get their hands dirty and take control of Fortress.
You're definitely feeling in danger right now if you're Davenport. Down 4-2 in lives here in the round. Exib is just going to sit in the corner here and try to maybe find a kill. But if you're Marcel, we've talked about it already. These guys do not push once they get the man advantage. If they don't need to push and get aggressive, they will wait and give you that bomb plant for free just to play the retake and play the full man advantage that they have there. They do not get over aggressive and make these big plays that you see a lot of other teams make and start throwing these lives. They are very, very well practiced, and they do not throw lives easily in search and destroy once they get a man advantage.
I mean, we're how many months into this game? We're near the end of the season. When it comes down to competitive play, you're not going to make those mistakes. You're not going to get over aggressive. Teams are going to be practiced when it comes to the top echelon of College COD, Challengers, CDL, everything. So, Marseille just showing that they are in it for the long run here. They're not going to jump the gun this time around. Slaypack's going to be the one up close and personal. Anthrax steals the first strike into the rounds. You see that Kalen, too, is going to be backed up. Exim Jared just barely misses out on the jump, and Mazzo's able to punish that with 2 kills. Lines up Gecko, finds Exim. Sheldon trying to get AG on the run, but instead, Sheldon now 1 versus 3. 30 seconds left. The bomb planted for Marseille. And they know exactly where this player is. Everybody's going to collapse onto Sheldon, and Marseille, they take back their 2-round advantage.
And if Mazzo found this final kill, that's going to be all 4 in the ace in the round there for Mazzo. They find 2, the opening 2 through middle of the map. Find a third a little bit later, and yeah, they do get the final bullets here onto Sheldon as well. So that's going to be a nice 4-0 spree there in the round. And a beautiful ace on the board for Mazzo. I mean, the player that we've really been highlighting all the way today through for Marseille. They've been the standout player. Now 11-2 called through 6 rounds of search and destroy. Ridiculous numbers here for Mazzo.
Davenport, again, I mean, you miss out on going down 0-3, but now you really find yourself in crunch time. You don't want to give Marseille their 5th. It gets even harder after that. Gecko was not able to get that trade. Bomb still in the hands of Exib, but with that first blood, it goes back down. Marseille, they don't usually make mistakes after that one, but this time around, Gecko able to pull one back.
There is an opportunity to push up and get this bomb down at A now. You really only have Slapex who's close in terms of being able to shut down and push over towards A. And actually, the player that was trying to develop a flank for Marseille gets shut down from Gecko. Gecko should hear those doors bottom as well. They do.
Man.
And it is just Slapex, but Slapex will find the bomb planter. Can't get Sheldon, though, as well. And Davenport will close the round out. And again, after going down 2 rounds, start to bring it back into their favor once again.
It's like, you need that. You need that 100%. If you're Davenport. But Gecko, again, when you need him to turn up, Jesse, this guy has been the difference maker for the Panthers. When Gecko is playing his best, so is Davenport. In that round, Gecko finds 3 after the first blood. Marseille now, can they answer back and find that map point? Davenport, and they tie this up.
And now Mazzo with a cruise missile as well, staying in the back of their spawn. I would imagine that this means we're going to see a cruise missile come out here and very likely a bomb plant and a rotation over towards B. But actually, they're going to start to get aggressive now and start to move their way over towards A. Completely going to negate everything I just said. And this bomb looks like it's going to start to work its way over and get planted at A.
Gecko making lots of noise. Slapex just trying to weed that player out, and you do. 1 versus 3 for Exib. To deny map point here. Exib on the flank. Dead Silence not going to be popped. Oh, almost finds the snap onto the second, but Marseille, they deal with that remaining player, and they find their 5th.
Yeah, I really thought that the way that they were playing off the start of that round, it was going to be a slow hit through middle of the map. They were going to use the cruise missile to kind of clear things out, give them the information on where those players were middle. But because of the aggression that we saw over towards Gallows from the defensive side from Davenport, Marseille recognizes that. They say, hey, you know what, we can get a few picks here. Might even be able to get this bomb down in the round win without having to invest the cruise missile here inside of the round. It's exactly what they do. And now they find themselves up 5-3, a chance to close things out here, and a chance to go up 1-0 in the group.
Oh, Anthrax, big win into the back line. AG trying to pull a fast one on Davenport, see if you can pick up the pace, light a fire under your team, but instead, first blood for the Panthers, and a second one from Anthrax too, so opening up this bomb site, Slaypack's gonna try to get eyes on, but Anthrax gets a 3rd in the round, doing everything for Davenport. Bombs getting planted. Mazzo, the playmaker, 12-3. 1 versus 4 for the map win. Is it doable? Right out the door, Exib says no.
Immediately shut down there if you're Mazzo, and that's a good round from Davenport. They find the first 2 kills immediately there in the round, get the bomb down, just kind of close things out. I think Davenport needed a clean round on the board, Colin, just to kind of give some confidence under their wings after how those last couple of rounds went there. The problem, though, is you do have to answer for that cruise missile. Every single round, it's going to be in the back of your mind. because Mazzo does have that one in their back pocket here. I'd be surprised if we don't see it invested inside of this round, because you'd still have a round to play with afterwards, even if you lose out here as Mars Hill. But it actually looks like Mazzo will get aggressive again. Bottom art just going to sit down here, watch bottom single, and see if anybody gets over aggressive and tries to push to the bottom.
Such a big map right now for Davenport. If you upset Mars Hill, put yourself in a great spot for qualifying for that LAN, but exit goes down. First blood again for Mars Hill.
And it looks like Mazzo's going to back up now. This should be where the cruise missile gets invested, and it absolutely is. Cruise missile in. Kalen finds a kill on another player through top. Thrax should get found. They do, and that is it. Mars Hill Esports, they will get it done in a fantastic series between these two teams. Mars Hill comes out with a 3-2 victory.
The mountain line straight to the jugular of Davenport. 6-4 in the search and destroy. They get it done in both of the searches, Jesse. They don't need the round 11 this time. And what an important win there for Mars Hill. Davenport, they shook the nest. You thought for a moment they could get it done. You thought for a moment maybe Davenport gets the upset versus Mars Hill. What a big storyline that would have been for College Con in these LAN qualifiers, but not today. Not today, says Mars Hill. They take care of business. They take down Davenport, and they start off their round robin 1-0.
They absolutely do. A very good start for them here. And, I mean, you know, they're going to just feel confident and run with that one. But I think the biggest thing here for me while watching Mars Hill is the resiliency that they show through this series. I mean, they start off with a close map 1 loss, a close map 2 win, and then you actually end up going down 2-1 to Davenport. It looked like they may have had the best of you inside of the respawns. Well, you group up, you come back even better when it comes down to the third and final respawn in that last hard point on Embassy, and they kind of wiped the floor with Davenport. That was the widest we've seen of any of the maps in terms of just how the teams were kind of matched up on that map mode combination. Mars Hill really resilient there to come back, win that map, force the game 5, and they looked very, very good inside of Search and Destroy in both maps here today.
The 2, 4, and 5, Jesse, I will say, you know, I was expecting a triumphant end to the Search and Destroy too, but I would say if there's one thing that really sets Mars Hill apart from Davenport when it comes down to the Search and Destroy, is the first blood game. I mean, constantly on Fortress, on Embassy, Mars Hill were finding first bloods throughout the map, and when you're fighting from a deficit like that, if you're Davenport, eventually the pressure's going to get to you. Eventually those first bloods are going to get to you, and both times in the round 11 and in the round 10, you just fall short at the finish line. You have to think what could have been for the Davenport Panthers if you take down Mars Hill in your first round robin match. It goes all the way to a game number 5. But that's where the underdog story ends, and Mars Hill, our number 5 team out of the community top 25 power rankings, Jesse. They're going to start off 1-0, but I'm sure for this squad, it's not as comfortable as you hoped.
Yeah, but they get the job done, right, at the end of the day. And I think the big thing, too, for Mars Hill, come the end of this series, they found a way to shut down Gecko, which they were having a very hard time with early on in the series. Had a very good map 1, 2, and 3, and you'll see that's why Davenport was able to take 2 of the first 3 maps there and 2 respawns in itself. But that last Embassy hardpoint, the last Fortress, Search and Destroy, you at least leave them to even or just about even. And what that does for your team, not having him running around Gecko going double positive against your team, can make all the difference in the world. They slow down the slaying. They're able to pick it up for themselves, and we got to give a massive shout out to really the all-star from the team for Mars Hill here today, Mazo. Mazo played unbelievable today with that submachine gun in hand. Very well done from Mars Hill, and they close the series out. Take a final look at it here, but a 3-2 for themselves to close the series.
Job's not done yet, though, Jesse. You went out in game 5, but you still have some more round robin matches to play for. If you are both Mars Hill and Davenport, both teams still needed to play up against Queens Esports, who's been waiting and watching. Davenport 0-1 in Group B, and Mars Hill 1-0, but we look across at the rest of them. Group C and D, we still haven't gotten the update for those 2 games, but that Farmingdale State versus New Mexico State game, another one where Farmingdale State just kind of trying to set themselves apart in this group and starting off strong.
Yeah, and I'm very interested to see the matchup between James Madison and New Mexico State University. I think that's going to be a very close matchup between those two teams as well. And now New Mexico down 0-1 will be fighting for their lives there, Colin, to be able to stay alive here inside of the College Cup playoffs. Because if you lose that game, you're out, essentially, right? You need to win that next matchup against James Madison to try to get some tiebreakers to go your way, to give yourselves an opportunity to get out of the round robin and give yourselves a fighting chance at playing one of those play-in matchups. Because once you get to a play-in matchup, who knows? It's a single best of 5. Anything can happen between these teams. But I mean, Colin, what a fantastic start to the day. Both those two series were unbelievable, especially this one, our featured matchup between Marcel and Davenport.
Of course, can't wait to get to those head-to-heads, but we still need to figure out these round robins, Jesse. We got round number 2, game 2 between these matches coming up soon. We're going to head to a break, get things set up, folks. We'll see you on the other side with some more last chance qualifiers for our College COD LAN.